Hi there to everyone in the AMKA Group. This is Graeme Codrington, and I'm really looking forward to spending another session with you as we look at the future and update some of our understanding of the forces that are shaping the world around us and what the opportunities and implications might be for your part of the group, whether you're in AMKA or you're in the packaging or the agricultural or the health and wellness space. We're living at a remarkable moment in time. And I've probably said that for most of my career over the last 20 years. But really, in 2025, something truly remarkable is happening in a variety of different spaces. Maybe let me explain it this way. In his book, The Sun Also Rises, Ernest Hemingway has two characters speak to each other. A young man asks, "How does somebody go bankrupt?" And the old wise man responds, "Slowly, slowly, slowly, and then very fast." It's a lovely little interchange. But slowly, 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 and then very fast. The economists and financial people will know that we call this type of graph a hockey stick graph. For a long time, nothing really happens. You've got regular cycles, natural seasons, and so on. Things sort of just moving along as we expect them. And then suddenly you've got this very fast, this uptick, the hockey stick effect. And what I would like you to do, if you don't mind, in preparing for our session together in June, is to think about examples in your part of the world. Now, that might be geopolitics and society, but obviously let's also think about business and marketplaces and industry. What examples would you be able to bring to our session where things have been going along in a fairly predictable, slowly, 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 nothing really happening kind of way, and suddenly in the last few months, few years, we've got this massive change, this massive disruption coming in. I'd like you to think of examples to kind of feed our conversation. That's the theme I'm going to be taking together. Let me give you a few examples. And these are examples that we've discussed in previous strategic sessions. So they're not new examples, but we need to understand the implications. We've talked about aging many times before, and that for most of human history, the average human age has been sort of 52 to 55. Now, in our lifetime, in recent decades, that life expectancy has just been increasing to now being in the 70s somewhere on average. And even more importantly, that people are being younger longer. That is now beginning to happen in dramatic ways across Africa. Linked to that, reducing family sizes and our population pyramids look very, very different. What should we be doing about it? Well, obviously, we've got a marketplace emerging of older people, and we've got to think through what do they want. We can't just be youth obsessed with all the ways that we think about marketing, packaging, products, placements, and so on. We've got to be thinking about a massive spread of demographics. And we're in the very fast part of change. There are going to be more people older than 60 than younger than 15 across Africa by the middle of the century. We've never lived in that kind of world before. We're in the very fast part, and we need to work out what that means. Another example for you is the way in which our planet is responding to the stresses and strains. I call it the angry planet. We talked about that last year. But this has got everything to do with extreme weather, pollution, pandemics. But yeah, for most of the last few hundred years, we've been ticking along. Let's use an example. Average global temperatures have been in a rough band. But now, literally in the last 3 or 4 years, we've had a 1.5% to 2.5% increase, and that's affecting the oceans, it's affecting extreme weather, it's going to affect the extremes of seasons, too hot, too cold. Again, Africa gets hit with all of this. Extreme weather, the impact of pandemics, and yeah, hotter summers, wet seasons, colder winters. It changes the marketplace, it changes our customers and what they're looking for, doesn't it? Third example, would be politics and economics. And now I'm going to get right to the point of saying that 2025, specifically this year, is a remarkable year of change. And maybe politics and economics is a good way to talk about it. Last year, there were 72 global elections, and in almost every one of those elections, the government was changed. People were, stamping their fists and saying, we demand change. There's been a few big elections so far this year, including in Canada and Australia, and a new pope in the Catholic Church. It's, I suppose, also a political thing in the Vatican, but it looks as if the Trump effect has been to say, no, we are scared of change now. We don't want to go to that ultra-conservative type of government. And I suppose if we're going to talk about the United States, and we're going to talk about what could happen there and what's coming out of the United States, that's probably the best example that I could give you of the craziness of what's happening at the moment. Like him or not, Donald Trump is causing deep structural change to take place. And I think it's going to take some time to see the implications. I mean, there's obviously immediate implications that we can see, but I think that we are going to see long-term implications. Maybe some of the things that needed to be changed, this was the only way you could go about changing them, but I think it's been too much, too hard, too fast, we're seeing the world ruptured. But there can be an obsession about the United States, and we can ignore what's happening in the other most powerful country in the world, and that is China. This is a picture from the China, if you can't read Chinese, I can't, let me translate that. It's called the China Two Sessions. And what it is, it's the entire parliament, all the different levels of parliament, everybody getting together. And this happened just a few weeks ago. And what China does is it has a 5-year plan. We're currently at the end of the 14th 5-year plan since the founding of the People's Republic. So what's that, 75 years ago. And we're about to start the 15th plan. And here's the crazy thing. China has achieved more than 92% of everything they have ever planned. And that's the key, right? They put their plans out. They even build their plans into their constitution. It ripples all the way down to municipal level, and everybody is held accountable at a constitutional level for delivering on the plans. But here's something very interesting. This year, China has said they're going to release not just their 2030 plan, the 15th 5-year plan, but also the 2035 and parts of the 2049 plan, which would be their 100th anniversary of the People's Republic. In other words, they are telling us the roadmap for 5 years, 10 years, and the next 15 years, or the next 25 years combined. And given their track record of delivering on their plans, it might be worthwhile for us to actually have a look at what those plans are. And in fact, if you do have a look, and I encourage you to do a little bit of research on this, we'll talk about it when we get together. But I think you might be very pleasantly surprised to discover what the plans actually are and how they might impact the AMKA Group. One final example from me, and that's got to do with computing power. Maybe the computing power growth chart is a little bit more smooth. It just keeps getting faster, and cheaper and smaller. So maybe this is more about computing hype. We talked about this last year, where I don't believe we've got a proper artificial intelligence yet, but we do have intelligent assistants. Not AI, but IA. But I think we've got an amazing amount of hype around it. And we need to work out, what is this AI really useful for? And what should we not use it for? And how can we take advantage and look at the opportunities that this computing, power, speed, intelligence, this living in the fast part of the slow, fast graph. What does that mean for us? So there it is. I would like you to think about, what do you see in your part of the world, in your market, in your client base and customer base? What do you see that is evidence of deep structural and disruptive change that is happening right now in 2025, that in the very near 3 to 5 year future might change the rules of the game completely? That's our focus this year. It's a little bit more focused on immediate impact, a little bit more focused on looking for those opportunities that are 3 to 5 years away and therefore demand our attention right now. I look forward to spending a morning with you, as we've often done in the past, and hearing from you and your insights, and showing you what our team at Tomorrow Today is seeing for 2025 and the next few years. I'll see you soon.